Go.
Hi, we researched about e-commerce for our final project. This is Jacob, Ryan, Felipe, Jack, and Gus. So in this slideshow, we'll be going over first the background, and then the problems, and then how to solve those problems, and then finally the recommendations and the conclusion. So to give a little background to what e-commerce is, this is the trading of goods over the use of the internet. And the first transaction occurred in 1994, and since then there's been rapid growth, and now almost all products are available through the internet for purchase. And because of this growth, e-commerce is slowly replacing the traditional physical stores that we were used to growing up. And the four types of e-commerce include business to consumer. This is the traditional model that everyone is accustomed to. And then business to business, this is where typically a wholesaler sells to another manufacturer. And then customer to customer, this is when consumer to consumer is when users on the internet use websites such as Craigslist and eBay to trade goods. And then finally, consumer to business is when the consumer creates value, which is consumed by the business. And this can occur on customer review websites where each review creates data for the business. An example of this would be TripAdvisor and Yelp. And now I'm going to pass it off to Felipe.
Okay, so since that first transaction in 1994, e-commerce as an industry has experienced exponential growth. And as you can see on the graph to the right of the slide, that it has grown exponentially. In the most recent year being 2020, it had $4.1 million in trillion dollars in sales. Sorry, and the pandemic accelerated this growth even further as the industry experienced growth that was not expected until 2024. And if we go on to the next slide, with it being an industry that, like any other rapid growing industry, experiences its growing pains, the e-commerce industry has many problems as well, these being abandoned shopping carts, as well as network traffic and just customer security overall. The problem we decided to focus our attention on was the quality of customer service that is provided by pure play businesses, which are businesses that are fully online. So since these businesses are fully online and they don't have any physical locations, there's a disconnect that happens between the business and the customers due to the lack of physical locations. And therefore, these businesses can only provide limited customer service due to the fact that a consumer can't go into the business and actually test out products before they purchase them. And therefore, any returns or any exchanges cannot go on without the consumer actually reaching out to the manufacturer. And now I'm going to pass it off to Jacob for the solutions.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Felipe. Now, considering the nature of the issue at hand, it's important to keep in mind that even though as e-commerce is growing and it is evident that e-commerce is and will be the future, it's important to keep in mind that businesses still must keep their physical customer service locations. There are many companies, many industries that still depend in those face-to-face situations. For example, an example of your traditional click and mortar companies. For example, you got the construction company as well. Say an independent contractor is looking for a specific plywood, and he has some specific measurements and a specific quality he's looking for as well. He would walk into the store, speak with the representative one-on-one. Show him the measurements, whether it be a specific thickness he's looking for or an unusual unusual width, I meant. And also when looking at the quality, there are some things you can only see them and feel them as you're in the store. So that would be an example of where a physical location would be very beneficial. Another example would be what Amazon is currently doing with their returns. Ourselves as college students, we sometimes prefer to rent the textbooks we use for our classes. And as many of you guys might be familiar, Amazon, what they have been doing up to this point is that they have aligned themselves with other logistic companies such as UPS, at least for for my experience, I can tell you that I've been renting some of my textbooks from there. I'll get them through Amazon, and then once I'm ready to return them, I can easily drop them off at any UPS location, which proves to be very convenient and something that I really like. And it's one of the reasons I keep coming back and using Amazon for as my primary textbook provider. So but without doubt, maintaining some physical locations in order to accommodate for better customer service is something critical and something that must not be forgotten, even as our e-commerce platform were to increase. And another thing we could consider when implementing and growing our e-commerce would be to provide live chats built into the online store, and not just chat, that could provide automated responses, but also chats that could contact the customer with actual knowledgeable representatives so that customers can express their concerns and questions. So, like I would fully recommend it to have an FAQ section, a place where customers can look at the most common issues and find the answers to address the problems at hand. But we also recommend to have a chat section where actual people, actual technicians can be behind the scenes and responding to the questions of the customers, whether it be questions on pricing, on the quality, or maybe on some shipping details, whatever that may be. It's always beneficial to have those actual people working behind the scenes and providing the questions that the customers might have. And now, having said that, I'll pass it on to Gus.
Thank you, Jacob. So now, after discussing e-commerce and its capabilities and its limitations, the problems presented by it, we're going to make some recommendations. Our first recommendation is that businesses should hire or contract IT professionals to keep our online retail options updated, user-friendly, and secure. Smaller businesses will probably want to contract IT businesses. The larger businesses can afford to have in-house IT staff, which is better as their IT staff will be entirely focused on maintaining that business's website and online platforms. IT is important because we want our users to have a good online experience, and if they are victims of cybercrime, such as hacking or account stealing, password stealing, they're not going to have an enjoyable experience, and they probably won't be return customers on our website. Our second bullet is to hire employees specifically for online sales and customer service. We want employees that are focused on our online retail aspects. Some employees may be better in face-to-face customer service positions or face-to-face sales positions. And so we want to make sure that we have the right staff for both sales channels. Another bullet is to reach our target markets with strategic online advertising. Rather than spend a lot of money on general advertising, we can use market analysis to really identify our target consumers and those demographics, and we can figure out which websites, which web platforms to market our products on to make the most use of our marketing dollars. Our last bullet is to use internet searching tools to find and compare suppliers and services. This is one thing that the internet really helps businesses with, is that it makes it so much easier to compare prices on supplies and services. Supplies, whether that just be ingredients, equipment, just various other supplies that needed to run the business. Services could be like janitorial supplies, IT supplies, and any other sort of business aspects that might be contracted out to a different business. There are many other recommendations, but these are 4 that we feel could make an online business venture successful and stand out above the competition. So in conclusion, although the e-commerce industry is highly advanced, it is still technically in its developmental state. The internet hasn't been around that long, and it will only continue to grow and develop. And so we do have problems that are present in several areas of the industry. However, there are multiple solutions available, and it's only a matter of time before customer service problems in e-commerce are a thing of the past. I would ask for questions, but this is a pre-recorded presentation. So on behalf of Group 20, I would just like to say thank you for listening and have a happy holidays.